everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, narrated by Disney, Oracle and Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it, Legends. And I, Negan, am here to conclude with the final book in the trilogy as to why Kevin J. Anderson is based and why everyone who dislikes it is a false prophet. Anyway, but today we have Book 3, Champions of the Force. I still loved it. I absolutely loved it. There's so many great things to enjoy about it, and the genuine love of Star Wars you can feel within it. Um, and I think it's so much fun. It may not be the most intellectually stimulating thing you'll ever see, but neither is Star Wars. Um, I'm not trying to be a hater to the franchise which started it all. Without these movies, we wouldn't have the EU, but it's like, I feel like people put this stuff on the pedestal when it's like, I've watched a lot of film, and Star Wars is nowhere near the pinnacle of what I've seen. It's fun, and there's definitely great artistic moments within it. But so I try to look at the EU in the same lens that I look at through the films, you know, and there's stuff that is better than the films, undoubtedly. All of New Jedi Order is better than the films, every single one, including 4, 5, and 6. Darth Plagueis better than all the films. Um, but then there are some which are worse than the films. Bounty Hunter Wars, garbage trilogy. And then there are others that are, I feel in line that, perhaps writing wise are not the same, but feel like the movies, feel like something that would come from that universe. And I feel that Jedi Academy does that adequately. But before we get into anything, based counter. Oh, right. Luke. People keep saying Luke's characterization is bad. You're wrong. Literally everything about this book is exactly how Luke should be. Screw you. What else? Oh, right. Kip Duran. Everything about Kip Duran. I've said this in every review, but need I go on? Kip Duran's one of the best additions to the Star Wars Expanded Universe ever. Love Kip. What else? Oh, right. Ghent is in here. Ghent's not in a lot of stories because for some reason Ghent was neglected, but Ghent is here. The Slicer from the Thrawn trilogy. He gets a little bit of love thrown in here, so that's great. Guys, as for Dala, the biggest critique of them all being the stupidest leader of all time, where? Because she's not Thrawn? Because she's not Izard? Nothing in here was stupid. She may not be the smartest Imperial to have ever lived, but she's by far from the worst. I've read all 3 books. I've yet to see where Dahl is this absolute moron. I've yet to see it. I've seen her make choices that would make her lose, but that's literally every villain ever. She sees the New Republic as a threat. She decides that she should probably take them out. Is it the wisest decision, considering that they're like the height of power right now? Probably not. But we could say the same thing about Zinji. Thrawn was the only one that had any real chance of defeating anything, and he failed. And then the Emperor failed. By then, all Imperials should have gave up. So every Imperial that still keeps going after Dark Empire is just retarded. Because it was over by that point. You were never, ever. You had your own Emperor come back. You're never getting that shot again. Sorry. Literally everything with Exar Kun. Everything about it. The only gripe about the Exar Kun stuff is that it ends 140 pages into the book. Out of a 300-page book. You know why it's a negative? Because it was so good, so compelling, with everything going on with Exar Kun, that I was upset that it ended so abruptly. That is the only complaint about that whole Exar Kun section. That means it was doing something right. If I'm upset that it's ending. Think about it. So that whole thing, fantastic. Again, my only gripe is that it ends so quickly. To be fair, it started in the second book and was concluded here, but still, I wish it would have lasted at least, page 230, 240 at least, but that's not how it went down. Um, and another thing people criticize is Luke's forgiveness, which is something I really can't fathom. Is that not the entire purpose of the entire story? Is not the entire 6 films a story of redemption? I mean, I literally talked about this. This is a long time ago now. This is early into 2022. It's 2023 now. But with another wonderful YouTube channel. I'll leave a link in the description to the particular live stream I'm talking about. But I also uploaded a short video of it. It was an episode 2 celebration because it was an anniversary of episode 2. And I talked about what did Star Wars mean to me. And to me, it seems like the ultimate story of redemption. Behind, Christ. But that's a different kind of redemption. This is redemption for me, as opposed to the redemption of Anakin Skywalker, him atoning for his actions. And who better understands that than Luke Skywalker? Who better to embody that than Kip Duran because of the story that he's provided with in this trilogy? Luke has not only forgiven Space Hitler, his father, only due to being family and due to the potential that he saw of goodness remaining within. Then, when the Emperor returned, tried to play double agent, only to fall and to become dark himself. He may have not killed as many people as Kip Duran did under the influence of the dark side, but who's to say he wouldn't have had Leia not saved him? He didn't have a Force entity messing with his mind. He just hung around Palpatine long enough, and the dark side became compelling. But he was brought back from the darkness, so why would he not give that chance to Kip? And even when he does give that chance to Kip, he still says he has to prove it before he can train again. And considering he destroys the Sun Crusher, I think that's a pretty good way to show that you're trying to atone. And he does grow up to become a fantastic Jedi. But no, I absolutely agree with this decision. It's 100 and a million, bajillion, quadrillion in line with Luke's character. If you can't see that, I don't know what you've been watching for years. This is Luke Skywalker. Right here, right now. In the pages of this book is Luke Skywalker. If you can't see that, maybe we're watching different franchises. That is quintessential Luke Skywalker. And it is based so zaced for how Kevin Janderson portrays that here. So good. So good. Did I mention that Quinlan Voss Brennan gave me these books? Actually, not these, actually. These came from Michael Jures, who's a friend of Matt Wilkins, great guy. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it to death. And of course, Kip is Chadley here. Everything it goes through, from becoming dark to wanting to atone, to stepping up, defeating the Sun Crusher. Like, I love Kip so much. And this book only reaffirms it. Leia goes on to become Chief of State, which I think remains consistent up until after Hand of Thrawn, where that would be dropped in New Jedi Order. But Mon Mothma gets sick. That was kind of a subplot that went on. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that her being sick eventually makes her have the decision that she doesn't want to be the Chief of State anymore. That she's getting a little bit old, and she gives it to Leia. So now Leia is Chief of State. And of course, Admiral. I honestly don't have too much to say about Dala. I was expecting this retardation from her because that's what Noah and other people claim is that Dala was an absolute retard in these books. She actually has, she has brain damage. She's so retarded. That's why the Death Star book gives her brain damage to explain why she's so retarded. And then I read it and I'm like, I don't see where the retardedness is coming in. I see an average intelligence person losing. I don't know. I've yet to see this retarded dollar. Maybe that pops up in Darksaber, but I'm not seeing it. Um, I mean, some parts that dragged, but were still fun. I mean, dragged is in the sense that it didn't add anything really to the plot. You know, Lando wants to use Kessel as a means of like a business opportunity with Mara Jade. That being said, I had a lot of fun with that, so it didn't really bug me. But if you're not like having fun with Lando doing that, then you're not gonna have fun with the little subplot. Um, then there's everything with Akbar getting reinstated and everything, and but then we get to see, when we're dealing with the Exar Kun stuff, which is earlier on, we get to see, the Jedi Knights join together, defeat this evil together, and it's absolutely wonderful. It's so great to see this, to see them work together and to do this without Luke Skywalker. Um, then Kip stepping up, defeating the Sun Crusher, and defeating Dala and all that. Like it's just fun. It's pure Star Wars. Like I can't express how much I love this trilogy. Like it's not writing perfection. It's not. It doesn't read like this high art thing. It's not. It's fun. It's basic, but it feels like Star Wars. I mean, I get if you don't like it, I guess. But man, I have to be bored out of my mind to really despise a book. Go back to Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy. But there's so much heart in this. Everybody's so cynical. Everybody's so hateful on the internet. You know? And so I don't talk about new canon because I'm only going to be negative and I don't want to be negative. I'm being negative toward Bounty Hunter Wars because I suffered through it and I read it. And nothing happened. Nothing. At least here, even if you don't like the story or you're like it's written poorly, this does matter. This trilogy matters. It matters to the future of the universe. Kip, Seagull, the Ma installation, Dala. So many things play a role down the road due to this book. What do you get? What does the Bounty Hunter Wars add to anything in the expanded universe down the line? Almost nothing. That's how inconsequential and boring and useless it is. But not this. The other one felt like somebody had a job to do, so they made 3 books of schlock so they could get some nice money in their pocket. You know what this felt like? A love letter. Maybe written by somebody who wasn't the brightest, if you want to be uncharitable like that because you're quality autism or other people. I love quality, I'm just being Negan. But this has heart and soul. And when you have heart and soul, I can look past flaws. Because if your heart's in the right place, and you can touch my heart, despite your flaws, then I'll love you. Same thing with people. Nobody's perfect. There are flaws in everybody. But it's the soul, the heart, that matters. And this book has a lot of it. Do I recommend the Jedi Academy trilogy? Absolutely. If you want to know the further adventures of Luke Skywalker, this trilogy, maybe you won't like it. And that's okay. But you owe it to yourself to at least check it out. To determine for yourself what you think. And not let any other people, whether it be me or anyone else, figure out your opinion. It is important to the overall saga. And it's worth checking out for yourself. Form your own opinions. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As for me, I will continue to sing the praises of Kevin J. Anderson and to remind everyone, forever and all time, how based this trilogy is. Up next, we'll see Stackpole crap over that for the first half of his book, and then we'll actually get into the parts that I can care about. So until then, may the Force be with you, and I'll see you again when we read I, Jedi. See you then.